Coming up in this episode of Theme Park Newsroom, we're going to be talking about a major franchise being announced for Halloween Horror Nights at Orlando and Hollywood in the Universal Studios. We'll be discussing early developments for a possible major attraction at a theme park in Finland, and we're also going to take the time to discuss what we know so far and what we have so far on the brand new Universal Studios Great Britain, scheduled to open in 2031. It's Friday the 6th of June 2025, and welcome to another edition of Theme Park Newsroom right here on the Coaster Chall channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to a brand new edition of Theme Park Newsroom here in the 2025 theme park season on Coaster Chall. We're back with the third edition of the series. We had the first one not too long ago, we had the second edition yesterday, and now it's time for edition number 3. 3 massive stories to talk about: Halloween Horror Nights, a park in Finland called Särkänniemi with a major attraction potentially for the future years, and also talking about Universal Studios Great Britain and starting to open up the conversation. So if you are new around here, make sure you like the video if you've loved it, comment down below your thoughts and opinions, subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. We're going to be bringing you some content from Alton Towers on the 23rd, well, it'll be filmed on the 23rd of June, but we'll bring it to you throughout that week. We'll also have some other content from some other parks from previous trips, which will be uploaded onto this channel as well. And we're also going to be bringing up some more shorts as well. Hope you're enjoying the shorts. So we're going to be bringing some more short form content into the mix as well, discussing and educating you guys about the world of theme parks from around the world. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this thrill seekers of all ages. I'm going to start with Halloween Horror Nights and some news around one of the major franchises that's set to arrive at the Halloween Horror Nights this year in both Orlando and Hollywood. It is Five Nights at Freddy's. It's set to run from August the 29th through to November the 2nd in Orlando. Not too sure about Hollywood at the minute. People in the comments can let me know if I haven't got it secured yet. On select nights, of course. And this year's event promises to deliver new thrills and frights, continuing the tradition of immersive haunted experiences throughout Orlando and Hollywood. So Halloween Horror Nights, obviously, we're expecting more information as the months go by, sort of more towards autumn time, the back end of the summer. But we've got the first early indication as to what we're scheduled to see at both Orlando and Hollywood, and that is the Five Nights at Freddy's experience. Now, obviously, we don't know for certain if this is going to be a haunted house. I think it's pretty much clear it probably will be a haunted house for both parks. Could be something different, you never know. They could offer more than just a haunted house. But all we know is for certain is that Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to both Orlando and Hollywood. So keep your eyes peeled for more details on that one. Now let's go into our second update. This is from a park called Särkänniemi in Finland. It's one of the more unusual parks in Europe. Now this is on a brand new attraction which is set to come into the future of this park as part of a long-term plan, rumoured to be worth around 100 million euros. So let's talk about what we know about the new attraction so far. So this is replacing Trombi. Now if you don't know what Trombi was, this is the park's Zamperla Voler flying coaster. Of course, we've got that here in the UK with Hero at Flamingoland. I'm wearing the Sick t-shirt from Flamingoland. Basically, the ride was put up for sale, but of course the ride has been taken apart. So a sign placed at the former Trombi site announced something new is being built here. Trombi has been closed to make space for new. We are building Särkänniemi's biggest ride investment of this decade on this site. More info coming soon. While official details about the new ride have not been released, enthusiasts have been speculating on potential ride types that could fit the space, with some suggesting that by utilising adjacent areas, the park could accommodate a large coaster. Now, I've put on your screen the official site via Google Earth. This is not including the adjacent locations around the site. This is literally just the Trombi site that I've circled, just to give you an indication as to the only site at the minute involved in this project. First of all, let's talk about the closure and the removal of Trombi, the Zamperla Voler flying coaster. Like I said, We've got a Vol Air flying coaster here in the UK with Hero at Flamingoland, like I said, rocking the Sick at Flamingoland t-shirt. The Vol Air flying coaster is a ride type that's not well represented amongst some enthusiasts, let's put it politely, and it has received negative reviews across the world, this type of ride. There's other Vol Air flying coasters that have since gone. We know there's probably more that's going to be on the way out as well. Zamperla may look in the future to revamp the Vol Air concept, to try and improve it and make it better. We know that Zamperla is a manufacturer that's trying all new different concepts at the moment, so we know they're an ever-growing, ever-progressing manufacturer of attractions, and we know there's some fantastic ones. We know there's some where they could improve, but we know they're doing a wonderful job regardless, and the Vol Air is definitely one of them. From my experience doing Hero at Flamingoland, I did think that ride needed removing for me personally. I didn't particularly like the addition, but I do respect the fact that Flamingoland tried something different, and it does have a good sort of view from off the ride, and that's something I won't take away from Hero, is that yes, on ride it's a pain when you're riding it, especially tall human beings like myself, where it hurts the shoulders, it bashes the brain, not good footing, etc, etc. It is a good view off the ride, and that's one of the advantages of a Vol Air flying coaster, if I could find a positive within a Vol Air flying coaster. But Trombi is another one that's biting the dust. It's leaving the park, and a new attraction is going to take its place. Obviously, it's not the oldest of roller coasters at the park, but here's hoping for better. Now, the discussion moves on to what is next for the site. What could be next for Särkänniemi? And I've kind of narrowed it down to two specific options. So first of all, a dark ride. To give you a bit of history on their history with dark rides, the first dark ride at the park back in the early 80s was Kumintuslina. I think that's how it's pronounced. That was replaced though in 2000 by Ololesintoni. I think it might be a silent H, but that shut down back in 2011. It was replaced with Angry Birds. So as of 2025, it does not have a dedicated dark ride in operation. So it could be something from Sally Corporation, it could be a Matt Rides attraction, it could be something from Garmondale. Literally anything. It could be just any type of manufacturer, any of the top manufacturers of dart rides. It could be any of them. But I think a dart ride is the massive missing piece in the puzzle. And, you know, people go, yes, I want a new roller coaster. Yes, I want a new roller coaster. It's not just about the coasters with the theme parks. We can't just say, oh, we'll replace this with a new coaster, this with a new coaster, this with a new coaster. By that point, every park looks like Six Flags Magic Mountain, you know, or Cedar Point. You know, you've got to have variety, and Särkänniemi does offer some good variety in its lineup from what I've seen early on, but it's missing a dart ride. That's the main type of attraction that it's missing in the park's ride lineup, and I think that hopping back to the classic dart rides and bringing that back in a new way, paying tribute to what they offered, to what they pioneered in the form of dart rides at that particular park, seeing the third dart ride in the park's history come to life in this particular location, I think could be very, very good. I think that, like I said, software-wise, you could do Matt Rides, you could do Sally Corporation, you could do Intamin, you could do any type of dart ride attraction. As long as you get the story right, as long as you get the theming right, as long as you get everything spot on, you've got a great attraction there. Now then, what about the second attraction type that could be added to this particular site? Well, I've gone with a compact but effective family thrill roller coaster. There isn't too many big top thrill coasters at Särkänniemi. I'd say the main one is Hype. Now, Hype is the premier skyrocket tour I was speaking about earlier when we looked at the location. This park has gone nearly 9 years without a brand new roller coaster. So we're nearly approaching a decade since the last roller coaster. I do think a roller coaster is highly likely to probably be on the cards here. Now, what type of coaster I would suggest? I've gone with one of two. I've gone with a small classic coaster that aligns with the aesthetic of the park, like a 610 version of the Gerstlauer bobsled coaster. Now, that is the same model as Gesente Sau at Wiener Plata in Austria. That looks like a really fun layout. I think it's a great family thrill coaster. If you built a building and you put it inside and made it a dart coaster, that would be even better, because you could kill two birds with one stone there. Or you go with the Vekoma family boomerang, maybe the rebound version, a dueling version. That could be a really good addition. It could be an extended custom layout to make it even bigger than the traditional family boomerangs or the traditional dueling family boomerang. I think there's options either way with this particular project, but either way, I think keep your eyes peeled on Särkänniemi. I think they could be for an exciting potential few years coming up, especially with this multi-million euro expansion and revitalization of the park over the coming years to come, next 5-10 years or so. I do think the park has a bright future, and I think this could just be the beginning. Finally then, we're going to get into the main kind of bulk of this video, and this is about Universal Studios Great Britain. We talked about this on the other channel before we moved all the stuff back over here, and we're going to finally open up the discussion and talk about my predictions, what I think could be coming into the park, and the resort as a general. So let's talk through everything we know so far, and then we'll open up the discussion and talk about what I think will happen with the park. So Universal Studios Great Britain, as we already know, is going to be situated on a 476-acre former brickworks site in Kenton Hardwick in Bedfordshire, approximately 50 miles north of London. The development may expand up to 700 acres, and that would make it the largest theme park or one of the largest theme parks in Europe. Construction, the main bulk of construction, is expected to commence next season in 2026, with the park slated to open in 2031, subject to final planning approvals. Now, the resort will include a 500-room hotel, a retail and dining complex, probably likely akin to Universal City Walk, and several themed lands and areas. And plans indicate the park will operate a 365-day year, similar to Universal's other global resorts. Now then, let's get on to the big discussion, the themes and rides. Now, one thing we do know is that despite its popularity, Harry Potter will not be featuring in Universal Studios Great Britain due to existing exclusivity agreements with the Warner Brothers Studio Tour in Leavesden near London. So what other themes from the main concept art that was released over the last month or so can we take that could be coming into this particular resort? Here is my thoughts, and this is what I'd say when looking at the concept art. First of all, a land dedicated to Jurassic World is, for me, an absolute must. I think we see that at the back of the concept art, potentially featuring a river ride adventure, kind of similar to what you see with the other Jurassic Park or Jurassic World river adventure style attractions at the other Universal parks. Immersive dinosaur encounters, I think that'll be included. I also think we'll see a Minions or Despicable Me vibrant style area, potentially anticipated for this project, offering family-friendly rides, maybe a family coaster themed around Super Silly Funland. I think it could be more of a Minions area, but it's plain to see at the minute. It's all speculation. I think that DreamWorks has to be involved in this project. I think when you look at the success of Epic Universe, when you see the How to Train Your Dragon stuff, when you look at what the potential is with the Shrek theming, the Kung Fu Panda theming, I think that a big DreamWorks area has got to be on the cards for this one. I also think with it being a British park, you've got to look at the British brands. I think James Bond could be involved. Look at the bit on the concept art at the back, where you get this like big live action stunt show at the back of the park. I think that could be themed to James Bond. I generally think that could be a James Bond themed stunt show. Paddington Bear, I think that could be included. I do generally think that could be an attraction in itself, like a dart ride. I also think Lord of the Rings could be an option, an immersive land recreating Middle-earth. I also think Back to the Future is on the cards. I think that could be a theme that could go for one of the attractions. There we go. That is everything we know so far and what we think could happen so far with this project. Of course, more details will come out. We'll get the official announcement announcing what areas are going to come in. We'll do a full analysis video, probably in its own Theme Park Newsroom episode. I think once we get more details on all the attractions for Universal Studios GB, I think we'll do that on its own video. I think it'll be its own Theme Park Newsroom. We'll spend quite a bit of time going into detail about every single land, what it means, the story of each land, all the attractions, once the big announcement video comes out. I don't think, and to be fair, when you judge it based on Epic Universe and the kind of process and the period of time sort of between announcing it all and getting it all ready, I think maybe a year or two, maybe 3 years before opening, I think we'll get that announcement video. So potentially looking at a late 2026, between 2026 and 2028, I would say that's the kind of time frame to maybe expect the full announcement video from Universal Studios GB about all the attractions, everything involved, everything business-wise, everything economic. So I think that that's what you're expecting here. I think potentially between 2026 and 2028, you'll expect a full announcement video and separate videos going into detail about all the lands involved in this park. But I am super excited about this project. I think it's going to be the best park in the UK. Let's just put it out there. I think it will be the Disneyland of this country. We could have had that with the London Resort. That's pretty much all cancelled now. And Universal Studios GB, they've done it the right way. They've gone about this brilliantly, and we're gonna see this park coming up. And I think this is going to be a wonderful addition to the country. I think it's much needed tourism for the country. I can't wait to be there on opening day at the age of, what, 30, 31. It's going to be weird being that age going into the gates of Universal Studios for the first time. And I hope to try out the other Universal parks before GB opens in 2031, but we'll just see what happens over time, over the next 5 years. But I, for one, cannot wait. And I really can't wait to cover more construction updates on Universal Studios GB right here in the studio. But that is going to be it for what has been a bumper episode of Theme Park Newsroom, talking about Särkänniemi's brand new major attraction and what it could be, talking about Five Nights at Freddy's going in at Halloween Horror Nights, talking about Universal Studios GB, 20 odd minutes just talking about 3 new stories, well, 2 new stories and an analysis of what we know so far about a major new project. It's going to be amazing. The next few years for the theme park industry over the world could be astonishing. So thank you all very, very much for watching this video. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, and for now, stay tuned for more content. Like I said, Alton Towers, 23rd of June, hopefully is our visit. So make sure you stay tuned for some updates across our social media platforms. Go and follow them in the description below. Go and follow all the people in the description down below these videos that are involved as well. And I just can't wait to bring you more content. We've got plenty of content to cover, so stay tuned. I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now, and that is the end of your theme park-tastic day. Take care, everyone, and we will see you in the next episode very soon.